Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Listen podcast. My guest today is a food content creator with over 3 million followers on TikTok, not to mention Instagram. He will put you on the best deals and hidden gems in Toronto. A lot of you might know him as Ramen Guy, but it's my very good friend, Clement. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely, man. I've been a big fan of your content for a while. I think this is our third time meeting now, right?
Yeah.
And I think after meeting you, I became an even bigger fan
Oh, thank you.
because you truly are exactly the same person that you are online. A lot of people have like a
Really?
persona, or like, for example, me, I do characters, but like
Yeah.
Ramen Guy or Clement on social media is Clement in real life.
Oh, thanks, man. It feels weird because I watch your content too. So, I'm a fan of yours as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. So talk to me about kind of your whole reason behind starting on social media.
Yeah, man. I've always wanted to do something like YouTube because everything I watched was on food.
Mhm.
So my heroes were Mark Wiens, Mikey Chen, best food review show ever. But I just never had the time to I never had the time to make a long form YouTube video. So I just watched them, and every year for like New Year's resolution, I'm like, I'm gonna start my YouTube. It never happened. But one New Year's, I think, oh yeah, during the pandemic, 2021, my friend was like, why don't you just do TikTok? I'm like, what is this? What is TikTok? Or I kind of knew what it was, but I thought it was like a dancing app of some sort. But then we scrolled through it and people were just doing everything on TikTok. And so I didn't know even where to start, but I just started filming myself eating food. So I just pointed a camera at myself. I don't even edit. I just like in the TikTok app.
Yeah.
Just I don't even use anything other than a TikTok app. I point a camera at myself, film myself eating, kept on uploading those videos, and that's how I really started. It just started a habit.
Yeah.
There wasn't really much views. I was surprised that there were views actually. I was like celebrating it. I think I had like 100 views. But that's how I started the habit of making videos.
And do you still do your filming in the TikTok app?
I did it for over a year.
Really?
Yeah, man. It was so the lesson I learned from that is optimizing for ease.
Yeah.
Like, how do I make it just really easy for myself to make content? But it got to a point where I couldn't do that because the editing features are just so limited
Mhm.
in the TikTok app. So I needed to get out of it. And the other thing was like Instagram Reels started to happen and then YouTube Shorts. So I wanted a way to be able to edit. Like you could download your TikTok videos, but there's a
The
watermark.
watermark, yeah.
So I needed a way to get the videos to be not on a platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know for me, I was the exact same. I
Yeah.
edited through TikTok, and even
Okay.
when I first started posting on Instagram and Reels, I would just post the videos with the watermark. But then I heard so many people telling me that
Yeah.
don't do that. It doesn't just look bad, but also like Instagram in their algorithm has a way to detect if it's a TikTok
Yeah.
video, and then it
Yeah.
won't
Yeah.
push it
Yeah.
as hard. So I think probably not too long ago. I'd say I probably did it for about a year as well. I think maybe like
Amazing.
year and a half ago, I started filming outside and then editing in an app called InShot.
Okay.
And then
Yes, I use that too.
really, yeah, I love it. It's super easy. It's simple. I do my editing for my videos on that. I
Yeah.
do my messy eats videos on that, and I
Oh,
love it. It's
yes.
great.
Yes. So I did that as well. Well, I used like another app that cost so much money, but didn't offer anything different from InShot. And
Really,
then
like how much?
I think it's something like, okay, when I say a lot of money, it isn't a lot, but it was a lot for me. It's like $100.
No, still, because
Yeah.
InShot is like I think like 25 a
right.
year.
Yeah, so my wife found InShot. She's like, this thing does exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And we migrated to that, but now I'm on CapCut.
Okay, keep
It's
seeing
superior,
CapCut,
man.
yeah?
CapCut is the best.
How much is it?
It's free.
Oh, is it?
But if you want the pro stuff, then you pay for it. So I actually just recently started paying for it. I'm a very like frugal person because there are some features I wanted to use. So
Yeah.
it's $9.99, I think USD a month, which is
Okay.
but it's free. Like you can just use the free features, and it's superior to InShot. You might not need those features though. But
Yeah, because my editing style is pretty simple and like I don't have to do too much, but maybe down the road, did you find it difficult switching from InShot to CapCut or very similar kind of format layout?
It's a good question. I found it wasn't too hard.
Hmm.
It's kind of like the thing I like. I edit everything on the phone. Do you do that
Yeah,
too?
same,
And
exact
I
same.
think it's really bad for my eyes, but I just can't. I try to do it on the laptop. So CapCut also has a desktop version. I just haven't built the muscle around it. But yeah, I just like it's just so fast when you can just do it with your thumbs.
Yeah, and you
And
can also see like if you're editing on your phone, most people are watching on their phone. You
exactly,
see exactly what they're going to see, so it's almost easier.
that's it.
Yeah.
So I think the CapCut feature I like the most is the auto caption. I don't know if InShot has that or not, but
I think it does, but what I do now is for clips for the podcast,
yeah.
I will edit in InShot and then I will take the video in InShot and put it in the captions app and then do my
Oh,
captions that way. So I'm kind of like
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of kind of
Okay.
moving here,
No,
moving there,
that
but
makes
that's what I
sense.
do. But so CapCut
Oh,
has captions.
they have auto captions, yeah. So like it'll auto generate it. So yeah, I think that was one of the things I wanted it for.
Yeah, and it's
That
pretty accurate.
yeah, I think I moved from InShot to CapCut for that,
Okay, I
and
got you.
it's free. Yeah, it's free.
And then so with your videos, you said when you started, you were like kind of celebrating getting like 100 views.
Yeah,
How long did it take for you to start gaining some real traction for you to realize like, oh, I might have
yeah.
something here?
Um. So I got my first quote unquote viral video when I thought of like how I think of ideas is like maybe how I thought of it from the beginning, just what I think would be really fun to film. And so it's centered on food because I love food, but I had this like Maruchan ramen box.
Okay.
So this is the first one. There's another one that went ultra viral, but there's the first Maruchan ramen box that Maruchan had sent me. I just unboxed it and made a really simple video in TikTok for that. And that went viral. And that's when I got 5,000 followers. And I was like, holy crap, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like 5,000 followers in a matter of, I think, 2 days or three
Yeah. That's
days.
crazy.
And I'm like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. And I just thought that it'd be that easy. Like I was like, oh, I'll just get like viral videos all the time.
Yeah. Just
But
keep doing it.
it wasn't, it wasn't exactly like that. But I had eventually like the audience kept on growing, and yeah, I mean something I haven't mentioned is I started Instagram before TikTok, but not really for videos. So it surpassed my Instagram eventually, like in a matter of a few months, I think.
Hmm. So what were you doing before social media? Before this was your full-time
Yeah,
job?
yeah. So I've only been doing content creator full time for a year.
Okay.
Like this is like, are we in May 1st?
May 1st. Yeah.
So I started May 2023 full time. But before that, so for 14 years, I was a software developer. I am a software developer. Like I still like love the craft. So yeah, I did that for a very long time. I loved it. Like I love digging deep into problems and problem solving and just like going hardcore on writing code. But I would take days off work just to make content.
Mm.
So that was like some like it's just like I would work and I would like rush to just make content,
Yeah.
or I would take days off work and that would be my rest
It's
is making content.
Yeah, it's
So
interesting you say that because I feel like a lot of people in the same situation almost say like that they hated their jobs, so they kind of started doing
yeah,
something on the side. But you
no,
enjoyed software development.
yeah, yeah, it's really interesting. Like so when I did content full time, this is like sorry, I'm going into like a
No,
tangent
no,
sort of.
go.
So when I did content creator full time, I actually at one point had a part-time job as a software developer because I'm trying to figure out how to monetize my audience. To be honest, like still figuring it out, but doing much better. So I would go in like as a software consultant once a week at at a friend's startup. He
Mm.
was like, they are all co-founders of the startup, and I just write code, and that became my hobby. I loved it. Like it became like my way to like rest my mind from content and not have to think about it, and then come back to it with like maybe a fresh perspective
Mhm.
or renewed perspective. So I feel like it's healthy to have maybe a hobby of some
Yeah.
sort.
Was so you would say like software development was and has been like fulfilling for you?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, quite stressful, I would say, working in tech, extremely stressful. but I learned a lot from that, and I learned how to manage my stress.
Mm,
So like my last job, I think there's a couple times I did really want to quit. So it's not like all roses or
of
anything,
course, like any job.
but I think I took a very stoic approach. I'm like, well, if I quit, I'm not going to learn the why behind why I get stressed out.
Hmm.
So I really tried to work on that, the why, and like overcome it in some ways. And I did. I was able to like get to a point where I could go through intense work but still be okay or manage the stress. It's not that I don't get stressed. I can manage the stress.
I've never heard that before. Like that's very different, I feel, than most people. Like you said, you wanted to figure out why you were
Yeah.
getting stressed. Most people are like, I'm stressed, let me get away
Yeah,
from this, but you almost wanted to discover the reasoning behind it so that you could almost fix it.
yeah, because I think, well, to be honest, like I think it's important to take rest and
Hmm.
just pause and get away from it. But I think, yeah, good question. I think, okay, I gotta be very honest. Like I had stocks that needed to be vested, so I needed to stay.
Oh, no,
So
I don't blame you.
there's that element to it too. So like I wanted to stay, but so if I wanted to stay, I needed to figure out how to manage my stress. So
Yeah.
that to be very honest, like that's part of the reason too.
Yeah. But it's still good that you're like finding a way to manage your stress rather than how do I avoid stress or, like how do I take
Yeah,
myself out of this stressful situation? You're thinking, how do
dude.
I stay in the situation because you like it, but learn to
Yeah,
manage it?
learn to manage it. There's so much to say about that. How do I also like change the situation in some ways? Like, I mean, quitting is a way to change your situation too. But I was able to like change my situation or internally and externally while working. Uh,
So how does the stress from software development, how does that differ from the stress of being a full-time
yeah,
content
man,
creator?
very different. I think content creator, I have like zero stress
Really?
from the ones that I experience as a employee.
Hmm.
I have very different stress.
Of course. It's hard working for yourself.
Yeah, it's I had to learn how to I'm learning how to work for myself.
Me too.
Yeah, like I think the muscle that I had to build up for the past year was not being comfortable not having a check come in every month.
Yeah.
So like past 14 years,
2 weeks.
I just get money in my bank and like sure you have to perform well at work, but you don't have to have like an on day every day. I mean, in content creator you don't either, but ultimately you have to bring in the business
Mhm.
or figure that out. So it's a very different that's one element to it. And then the other element is I think you get a viral video and that becomes your expectations of, okay, I think that's my benchmark now. And if you don't hit that benchmark, you have to develop a psychology around setting expectations for that.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of different things you just have to deal with as a content creator.
Yeah. I think you hit it right on the nose. It's, being a full-time content creator, I don't think is less stress than other jobs. It's
No,
just
no,
different
it's a
stresses.
very different one.
Like you said, I think the biggest thing that content creators who go full-time need to learn how to do, and it's completely different from most jobs, is like you said, not getting a paycheck every week or every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah,
you can get paid 10 times in a month and then you cannot get paid for 3 months. And that's the biggest thing
that's
because
exactly it, man.
it is stressful on you. You need to hold yourself accountable.
Hmm.
You need to find your deals. And obviously, you can have an agent and stuff like that, and that helps. But
Right.
it is on you to get the work done. And you have to hold yourself accountable because you can take breaks as much as you want. You
You
can go on
could
vacation
you
if
can
you
do
want.
whatever you yeah, there's unlimited freedom.
Yeah. But
But
that's scary. That's a responsibility in itself.
unlimited freedom comes with limitations.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Paradoxically.
So you start as a content creator. Before you go full time, why ramen?
Why ramen? Yeah, it's a very good question. So first, I think I'm obsessed with noodles. So there's that part. And so when I was filming myself eating food every day. So like because I was working full time, how I made it easy for myself was just like atomic habits. Uh, stack if you want to create a new habit, attach it to an existing habit. An
Mhm.
existing habit was eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So
It's a good habit.
it's a good one, man. So then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna film myself eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then I ate a lot of ramen, which is not great, I guess, in retrospect. But I would eat ramen for breakfast. Easy to do. And so that caught on a little bit. Like people were like, that's really strange, or that's really fun, or I can't believe you're doing that. And are you okay, man? Like you're eating a lot of instant ramen. So that became like something that got engagement. And then people started just sending me recipes to try.
Mm.
So I think I get too much credit for like, oh, I know all the best ramen hacks. It's actually people sending suggestions to me. So I just started trying them. I think the first one I tried was not the QP mayo one, but the soy sauce, something I forgot the combination, but oh, it was the everything but the bagel seasoning ramen
Okay.
hack. I didn't have everything but the bagel seasoning, so I just like substituted a few things, and that one went like really, it did really well. It's like probably still one of my best performing videos of all time.
Mhm.
And so people just started calling me the ramen guy. So it was more of like the audience chose my content in some ways, or like we co-created it together,
Mhm.
rather than me like intentionally saying, "Oh, this is how I want my channel to be." It was a process of discovery.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So other than the one you just described, you've done a bunch of different ramen hacks. What
yeah,
is your favorite? We're talking just you're buying instant
yeah, yeah,
ramen from
yeah,
the
man.
store. What do you do to spice it up?
Yeah, man. So off camera, it's very simple. I love Shin Ramyun, and I like to drop an egg in it at the 2 minute mark,
Okay.
and then I let the 1 minute cook part of the egg, and I turn off the gas,
Gotcha.
and then let the residual heat cook the rest of the egg, and I would continue to stir. So there's a bit of a technique to it, but creates this like really creamy consistency. I put a little bit of um, sesame oil in there too.
Mm.
Very simple, and I love that recipe, and it was from a fan. It's not mine either. Like someone, I think someone told me about it, and I just got obsessed with it. It's just like the easiest thing to do,
Yeah.
and I haven't eaten ramen in a long time, except I ate some this morning.
Okay.
But like other than that, I hadn't eaten any instant ramen for months.
Yeah.
But if I were to eat one, that's easy way to do it.
Yeah. I know my girlfriend, we don't have ramen too often, at least instant ramen too
Yeah,
often. We go out for ramen pretty often, but
nice.
she makes like ramen eggs, like puts them in the brine and it's
Oh yeah,
so good. And
yeah,
they could just
yeah,
sit
yeah.
there and then you just whenever you want to make some ramen, you put them in.
I
They're
like
so good.
that.
It is the egg is probably my favorite part of the ramen overall. Just
Oh
nice
yeah.
jammy egg and it like oozes into the broth and you mix it all. It's like
The
delicious.
jammy egg is key, man.
Yeah.
You guys should try, you might have already cured eggs. So it's like
Mm.
I wanna say, don't quote, like, I think it's like a r wait, I don't even remember how to make it, but I think it's raw.
Raw egg. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, so you take the yolk raw, and you put it in like a soy sauce or something, like probably the same thing you would use for the ramen egg.
Okay.
Soy sauce, mirin, water.
Yeah, just the
Just
yolk.
the yolks, you just let it cure in that brine, like maybe for a day. I'm not sure how long, and you take it out. It becomes a jammy egg.
Really?
Yeah, man. I haven't tried it. I seen it on
I
TikTok.
gotta check that out.
Yeah.
So have you found it difficult to because you kind of started with ramen and like a lot of people know you as a
Yeah.
ramen guy. Have you struggled to kind of move away from ramen? Has it been difficult for you? Have you gotten like pushback at all?
Yes to all, I think. It's hard to transition, I think, but I wanted to, because like my heroes on YouTube, they were just foodies. They
Mhm.
just loved eating food, and like with Mark Wiens, he travels and eats. So I was really happy recently to go to China and be able to just share all the food I ate there with my audience. That was like the funnest thing.
Yeah, the food looked amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So part of it was just for what I enjoyed and want to enjoy doing, but it was very hard because ramen really worked.
Mhm.
Like I think my biggest growth spurt was last year, because I just kept on doing ramen, and I also evolved to frozen ramen, but still ramen. But I really wanted to transform kind of like the mission of the channel. And so to do that, I needed to transform the content as well. So there's a part of like, what do I want the purpose of the content to be and what do I enjoy that kind of like motivated me. And um, it comes at a cost at least. I don't know how to do it and still like continue to grow like crazy. Like my growth has plateaued, but I don't really, right. I mean, at the moment, I'm not optimizing for that.
Mhm.
I've optimizing for like hopefully creating content that my audience will still find engaging, but lets me enjoy making the content more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing. I've had a few content creators on the podcast now, and everyone kind of seems to say the same thing. Like they've been able to kind of figure out the process of like what they need to post in order to grow as much as possible, but it
Mm,
doesn't always align with the content you want to make. And to me, the
yeah.
most important thing is making content you want to make. And I think for you especially, like a lot of creators kind of
Mm,
get lost because they don't know how to evolve. And
mm.
as much as you potentially could have grown more by doing only ramen, at some point I feel like if all you're doing is ramen,
Yeah.
people get tired of you. And it's the same as any other
Sure.
thing. If
Yeah.
I continue to do my Toronto man character
Right.
forever, people get tired of you. You do the same video over and over. It can help you grow to a certain point, but then one, you become miserable doing something that you
Yeah.
don't want to do,
Right.
and two, people get tired of you. Whereas now you do so many different kinds of foods,
Yeah.
and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like you're enjoying it way more.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
So like that people notice that, and you will still be able to grow an audience, maybe just not as fast as
Yeah.
blowing up with ramen videos.
Yeah, I'm figuring that part out. But yeah, I have a ton of fun doing it. And I think every creator will evolve their content in some way over time. Like,
You have to.
I even see like some other creators, I look at their early videos and they're very different from their recent videos. And I mean, I get inspiration from you. Last time we chatted, I'm like, yo, man, that's so cool. Like, you developed a new character. Obviously, went through the same struggle of like, maybe your current audience might not wants you to do Toronto Man,
Mhm.
but you believed in this new character, and you even did this other thing that was totally like, not something you typically do on your channel, just giving out food to
Yeah.
people who need it, and that's cool, man. Like, do what you're a testament to what you preach, which is do what you love.
Thank you, man. And it's tough because I'm in the exact same position now where
Mm,
I still very much enjoy doing the Middle Eastern character. I
yeah,
love doing Uncle Yusuf, but I want to evolve as well. And I
sure.
want to continue doing those videos where I'm helping people. But I'm also loving doing these food videos with my girlfriend. And
Yeah.
there's other stuff I want to try. So it's tough because you don't want to throw everything at your audience all at once. I mean, I have the podcast
Hmm.
as well. I don't want to be like, check this out and that
You're
out and
right.
this and that. But at the same time, you want to have as many options. You want to do the
Yeah.
things that truly make you happy. So it's really a balancing act trying to make the content you want to make, also making the content that your followers appreciate
Yeah.
and growing at the same time. It's a balancing act.
You are a creative at heart, man. You
Thank
got
you.
so many things going on, and it's super cool to see.
Thank you so much. So now you've been making a bunch of different types of food videos. When you were still doing ramen, did you struggle to kind of get brand deals when you were in such kind of like a niche market? Because food
Yeah.
in itself is already one kind of avenue, but you
Yeah,
were straight into
ultra.
ramen. So was it difficult getting deals?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. So when for the first 2 years, I didn't really care about brand deals
Hmm.
because I was working full time, but I got some here and there, and obviously in like the ramen space, usually I got one like because of music, so that was interesting. Like, so like they wanted me to use like some music in my video,
Okay, like a song?
a song, yeah. So I think it was for. Oh man, I forgot the artist's name, but whatever. Yeah, it was for like Universal Music, I
Okay.
think. Was it them? Anyway, so but that was like as far as it got in terms of like range.
Hmm.
Like a lot of it was very ramen related. And then when I did it full time, I was still kind of on the ramen thing. So it was largely ramen brands that I would partner with.
Mm.
But those are very difficult because it's a very niche and narrow place to be. And also, a lot of ramen brands don't really want to do brand partnerships,
Hmm.
or they just don't have the budget or whatever it is. So yeah, long story short, it was. So I learned like maybe the hard way or whatever through this year, and I'm still learning, to be very honest. How like I was very good at making content that my followers would like, I think, but not very good at making content that was brandable.
Hmm.
And so that's been a learning process as well.
Yeah, I think it's a learning process for everyone. I mean, for me, honestly, I got very lucky because my niche is so random. It's just like
Yeah.
characters. So like I've actually had a lot of food brands over the years, like restaurants, like
Ooh.
like processed food, like all kinds of stuff. So many different brands, and even stuff like Old Spice and Phillips razors and stuff like that. So it was very easy for me, but I know for a lot of people, it's difficult. For example, we were talking about our
Mm.
friend Joey Wellness. He just
Okay.
hit 1 million followers on Instagram, but he is a health and wellness person.
Yeah. He
So
can't eat McDonald's.
yeah, he can't do a McDonald's ad. He can't do any kind of like fast food, that kind of stuff, because
Right.
it's like the majority of his content, I don't want to say trashes that kind of stuff, but
Sure.
he just kind of puts the facts out and says, well, look at how much sugar is in this.
Yeah.
Look at how
Yeah. Yeah.
much salt is in that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
for him, it's been difficult, but over the last few months, he's been able to get a lot of health and wellness brands. And there's so many brands
Amazing.
coming out that are, pushing this agenda and that agenda of
Yep.
like, this is how to be healthy, try this alternative. And he's really over the last few months been able to grow a lot from that. So it takes time for sure.
That's amazing. He's in a niche, but a wider niche.
Yeah. And a
Uh,
growing niche.
and a
That's the
growing niche.
important
So
thing
it's good. It's actually good to be in some sort of niche.
for sure.
And I like yours because you're in a niche, but your niche can represent many things.
Absolutely.
Like so one thing yesterday, I was talking to someone who owns a tequila. No, wait, not tequila, vodka business. He's
Okay.
the owner of this new vodka in Toronto. Actually, I forgot the name. Anyway, so he's like, I'm like, yo, what's your secret? It's like you need to have something that people know you for that's different.
Mhm.
Like there's like literally thousands of liquor or alcohol companies out there. He's like, there needs to be something that makes you different. And for him, it's loco. It's one I think the only vodka that is made in Toronto, or one of the few.
Mm.
And they use like, anyway, I'm giving like, this is like almost like an ad for them.
Yeah, why not?
They use like
Maybe they'll sponsor you.
they use like a wheat. It's called like winter wheat or cold wheat.
I feel like I've heard of this.
Have you heard of this? So it's sweet. It's
Yeah.
so good, by the way.
Yeah.
Not endorsing like people to drink like irresponsibly, but this is like
Drink responsibly.
yeah, drink responsibly. This is a very like, it's a sweet vodka, so it goes down really nicely.
Mhm.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I forgot the name of it, but that's what differentiates him. So sorry, that was just a tangent on like you have something that differentiates you, but
Yeah.
you can incorporate a lot of brands into this character that's very unique.
Yeah, but no, he makes a good point. Like finding your niche, but finding something that makes you different is important. Like I think
Yeah.
local is a very important thing, especially in the food area, because
Mhm.
I mean, for example, you make food videos. I would assume the ones that people are the most inclined to see are the ones that are in Toronto. And
Yeah.
if you go to Ajax or Whitby or a little bit further out, it's a little bit tougher, but people will still travel if it's good food. And
Yeah.
the same way you said the vodka is local. I mean, for example, if I go to a bar or like a brewery and I see a bunch of beers and I see one that's made in Toronto
Yeah.
or made somewhere close to here, I'd be a little bit more inclined to try it out. Like, it's local,
Yeah.
why not?
Support your local businesses, and you can't get it anywhere else potentially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, one of the deals I did see from yours recently was the Mary Brown's
Yeah.
deal. And I ended up, I mean, first I think I saw your ad on TikTok, just like
Okay.
the ad. And then I saw like a Mary Brown's commercial and I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, that's Clement. Like they took his video and put it in the commercial.
Yeah.
So how did that come to be?
Yeah, that was kind of a blessing, man. Like, because I didn't think I would get that one.
Mhm.
Like, I've never gotten one with a fast food chain, but okay, I don't know how I got it, but I can just speculate.
Yeah.
Part of the reason was I ate a lot of fried chicken before before getting that deal.
Yeah.
So I had this like mini series going on with my wife, where we would compare different fried chicken,
Yeah.
like Korean fried chicken, Popeyes, KFC. KFC was the worst.
Yeah.
Yes, like in Canada, like in Thailand, KFC's great.
Man, I hear that so much. I hear like the big places, KFC, I hear is so different, like globally,
Yeah.
compared to in Canada. The same with Burger King. I would say
Yeah.
in Canada, Burger King isn't necessarily the like a restaurant that people tend to go to often. People don't talk about Burger King a lot.
Yeah.
But I remember when I was traveling in Europe and I was in Denmark, the lineup at
Lineup.
Burger King was huge. So it's like it
Yeah,
really
yeah.
depends on the
Yeah,
place.
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember trying KFC in South Korea, and it was
Oh,
better.
it's
It was
probably
a
fire
lot
there.
better than Canada.
Yeah, yeah. No hate to KFC Canada though, but yeah, like I maybe it's the KFC I go to. It was
Yeah.
just not
They
good.
got to bring back the Toonie Tuesday.
Toonie Tuesday. No, that was good. Toonie Tuesdays. But yeah, like another tangent. As you said that in China, Tim Hortons is upscale.
I saw your video. I didn't even know Tim Hortons was a thing in China.
It is huge.
Really?
It is
so
huge.
multiple locations, tons of locations.
Tons of locations in China.
Really?
I heard that they want to have more Tim Hortons in China than Canada. Like it's going to happen. I mean, it makes sense.
Wow.
China's much bigger.
Yeah.
But it's just like fancy there. It's fancy. It's high tech. It's a very nice experience. The best thing I ate there was this pistachio cream cheese bagel.
Yeah.
Pistachio cream cheese, very decadent. Like it was really good.
That's so interesting because Tim Hortons isn't really big in the States at all. And I guess
they're
because
trying to
they have
expand there.
competitors, they
Yeah.
have obviously like Dunkin' Donuts. So in China, like, is there like what are the competitors? Who are the big coffee
Yeah,
companies in China?
there's like Lucky Coffee. We tried. Lucky's big.
Mhm.
There's Coty. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. These are all Chinese brands. Actually, Coty is here now.
Okay.
If you go to like Fairview Mall, they have a Coty coffee there.
Is there Starbucks in China?
Starbucks is pretty popular too. So there's so many. Coffee's expensive, man.
Mhm.
Like in China, it's like one of the few things that are like, I guess it's like a high end type of thing to do.
Mm.
So I don't know, like I never got a regular coffee there. Maybe you can, like, like that double or whatever. They don't have that in China for
Really?
Tim Hortons even. It's all like lattes, like cappuccinos,
Yeah.
or
Higher end. A
higher end
little bit.
mochas, that type of thing. So it costs you like $7 Canadian. Yeah.
Is coffee like, like the way in Canada, I view coffee and especially Tim Hortons as like Canadian culture. Like,
Yeah.
it's very normal. It's very common. You'd say more often than not, most people go to Tim Hortons or grab a coffee on their way to work or when they're at work.
Right.
Is that part of Chinese culture or is it not
Yeah.
really there?
It's a good question.
I feel like tea is maybe a bit
Yeah.
more popular there.
I was a tourist there, so I was probably going there during like not rush hour
Yeah.
or whatever. So I did see a lot of people just sitting down enjoying their coffee.
Okay.
What I think locos and I think Tim Hortons has a very strong, from what I can see, a very strong brand in China. Like people love Tim Hortons in China.
Really? That's so
Yeah,
good
like
to hear.
people love it. I wonder if it's because just people love Canadians.
Yeah.
Like Canadians are known to be like polite and kind. So there's like Tim Hortons in China, they double down on the Canadian culture.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
So, like, are they pushing it as like
Yeah.
this is a Canadian company,
They-
or
they
is it
are.
just like no, this is just Tim Hortons? Don't worry about where we're from.
They're pushing it as Canadian.
Really?
So there's like, if you saw my video, there's like a fake like maple leaf tree in the middle of the Tims.
That's awesome.
Like I thought it was real, so I tried to smell it. I was like, oh no, this is fake.
Yeah,
And
this
then
is not maple.
they had like some quotes on the wall too, and they had like the maple leaf was everywhere,
Mhm.
and I don't know, it was good vibes, man. Yeah.
That's awesome. I gotta check because I'm leaving for Japan next week. We were
Yeah,
talking about it.
see if
I gotta
there's
see if
there.
they have Tim's in Japan and see if it's any better or any worse than
That'd
the
be
Tim
cool.
Hortons here.
You got to try KFC in Japan.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's good. It's good there.
We have been saving like my For You page on both Instagram and TikTok has been pure Japanese, like go to this place in Kyoto, go to this place in Osaka, go to this place in Tokyo. And I've been saving everything and sending it to the group chat. And we literally just have, there's way too many spots to
A lot
try.
of food.
We just have like I think it's like one of those Google Maps where you can just pin
Nice.
places. So like every day, whatever area we're in, we're just going to look on the map and say, oh, like this place is in the area, let's try that. But
Yeah.
there's so much ramen I want to try, so much
Yeah,
fast
man.
food.
Dude.
It's a lot.
Ramen is cheap there too.
Oh, I've heard.
You're gonna be shocked at coming back
Yeah.
at the prices. Like, cause Like I lived there in 2006
In Japan.
in Japan because I did a co-op there as an engineer.
For how long?
9 months.
Okay.
And so I think that's where I developed the love for noodles or ramen. I mean, I love noodles before that, but that was more for like the Japanese ramen, udon, that type of thing. Because
Yeah.
it's meant to be like a super affordable meal. Like
It should be.
It's a worker man's meal. Like you eat it really quickly, go
You
back
get
to
out of
work.
there.
Yeah, it's affordable. So yeah, go to. I gave you the. Did I give you?
I
the
got
rec-
it. I got it
Yeah,
written down.
man.
I think it's in my notes somewhere. Yeah.
Give me your honest opinion on it.
I'll let you know. The crazy thing is the best ramen I've had was in South Korea. It was a Michelin star place.
Yeah.
And I went to South Korea with two of my buddies who had already been to Japan before, and they had ramen all the time. And they even said that
This is the
ramen in
best one.
South Korea was the best one. So I have a
believe
bunch
you,
of
man.
places saved now, and I'm like, the goal is to find
A
a
better one.
ramen place better than that one. It's gonna be tough, but I think we can do it. If
Yeah,
the best ramen's anywhere, it's probably in Japan.
I'm excited for you. I'm looking forward to if you make some videos.
I'm
I'll
definitely
watch
gonna make
those.
some videos. I'm gonna make a video, I think, before I even get there, of the business class experience, because it's my first time flying business class.
Oh, you booked business class.
Yeah, I got it off of points. I don't have the money. I think it was like a $6,000 ticket, but I booked it with points. So lie flat seat, little order. You did a video on it. On the same thing, right?
Are you flying Air Canada?
Air Canada.
Yeah, I did one but economy.
Yeah.
For going to Shanghai. Yeah,
The food looked pretty good. I like when
yeah.
when you travel to a country and the food that they serve you is based in that country. I remember flying to Korea. They gave us some noodles with some kimchi, and like, I love it. So I'm excited to see what they offer us.
I think it'll be good for you too,
Yeah.
especially in business class.
Oh yeah, I cannot wait. Cannot wait.
Yeah. So are you saying like with points you can actually get business class with less points, or like how does it work?
Clement, do not get me started on these American Express points. American Express, please sponsor me before I start this.
Yeah.
So, okay, first, American Express points, you can convert to Aeroplan points 1-to-1.
Sure. Okay.
Typically, when it comes to Aeroplan, there are certain prices, like certain points, for a flight, depending on how far that flight is, like how long of a flight it is in terms of distance. But every once in a while, prices go down. So, for example, a flight to Tokyo one way is about 300,000 points normally. And 300,000 points is the equivalent of 3,000 Canadian. But if you check every day, and like every once in a while, the prices change. So me and my friends were checking it every day. So from 300,000, we got business class to Tokyo all the way down to 80,000, which is the equivalent of $800 Canadian. So, I mean, flying one way to Tokyo for $800 Canadian is about the regular price economy. So imagine getting it for business class. So I cannot stress this enough.
Hold up.
Aeroplan, Air Canada, get the points.
So do you mean you check you check Air Canada's points?
Yeah.
Not the price, but the points every
so,
day.
So every day we would go on the Aeroplan website, put in our flight and the exact dates we wanted.
Oh my gosh.
And you click use Aeroplan points and it searches with points. And every day you just check the flight and
I'm doing this.
And literally every single day, check. As soon as you see the price, you convert your American Express points to Aeroplan if you're doing American Express.
That takes a little bit of time though.
No, it depends what you're converting to. But if it's American Express points to Aeroplan, instant. Within 5 minutes.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and the thing with American Express, like I said, sponsor me. You can convert them to Aeroplan points. You can convert them to Asia Airlines, one of those airlines. You can convert it to British Airways. You can convert it to Etihad, whatever. You can convert it to like at least 4 or 5 different airlines.
Right.
So you can even just check, like if you're flying to Europe, you don't have to just look at Air Canada. You can look at British Airways. You can look at all kinds of different stuff. And we could have looked at like Asian Airways or airlines, whatever it's called. But Amex to Aeroplan is 1-to-1 ratio.
Yeah, you have to figure out what the conversion is like.
Exactly, yeah. But it is great. If anyone doesn't have it, if you're Canadian, the American Express Cobalt card, you stock up your points.
I have that one.
I have like 400,000 or 500,000 points.
Holy crap.
So like we're flying to Tokyo business class. We're flying back from Tokyo premium economy.
Amazing.
For less than it would have costed to fly economy.
That's amazing,
It's
man.
fantastic.
Dang. Okay, I'm looking forward to you to experiencing it.
I can. I'll send you some personal videos that I don't post online.
Sick.
So last time we spoke,
Yeah.
we were talking about Keith Lee
Oh
because
yeah.
Keith Lee recently came to Toronto.
Yeah.
And you said you were very inspired by Keith
Yeah, I'm
Lee.
a big fan of his.
Do you kind of want to do the same thing that he does? And I guess he lives in Vegas, right?
He lives in Vegas.
But he kind of does a little bit of. He's been doing a lot more traveling now. But do you want to kind of do the same thing, but in Toronto, where you're kind of showing these hidden gems and showing
Yeah.
spots that maybe are struggling a little bit for whatever the reason may be to kind of pump up their business?
Yeah, like I think how I've been trying to understand where I want to go is just to look to people who are like role models of mine, and Keith Lee is one of the biggest ones because he's a person of faith, and I am as well. And he wants to use his platform to really bless uh, restaurants that might need the marketing
Mhm.
to support their businesses, and so that's been one of the missions of my channel is to do something from that lens. He's doing his American tour.
Mm,
I have a dream to do like a Canada tour.
that'd be amazing.
I'm doing like Vancouver first just because I'm from there and I have a place to stay, like at my parents' place, so I can save some money. But that's one of the things I want to do. Like I might like start more local. Like I actually went to Oshawa last week
Okay, yeah.
to just do a video for a couple restaurants there.
Yeah, that's
So
my neck of the woods.
yeah,
We still got
I
to go to
remember.
J7 in Whitby.
Yeah, we got to do that.
Yeah.
And so that's been part of it is just to because I see the platform as a blessing to me. It's like a gift. So I wanted to use it to bless others as well. And like I have other like role models like Mark Wiens.
Mhm.
If do you watch Mark Wiens or you know this guy?
I know of him. I've seen. I don't watch him too much, but if I'm going to a place, I will
Yeah.
then watch his videos. Like I went to Philadelphia last
Yeah,
month for
yeah.
WrestleMania, and I watched his videos to see what place he thought was the best
Yeah,
Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah. I didn't know he had an HBO show too. He's on
Really?
HBO.
I didn't know that.
So he was like my main YouTuber. Not growing up, like I was still I think like going through university
Yeah.
and so like he like the reason I make facial reactions is probably because of him. Like I react
Yeah.
to the food like he reacts to the food. And Keith Lee, like his mission, I really like. So I have like this combination of just like heroes of mine that I get inspired by and try to incorporate in my content.
Yeah. I think you've been doing a good job with it. I think lately I've been seeing a lot more of your videos where like trying out like a Chinese like I think you just posted a Chinese like Hong Kong style place that has 3.5 stars
Yeah,
on
right.
Google whatever
Google
on the reviews,
yeah.
and you give them your own review, your own
Yeah.
rating. I like that a lot because I'm someone who, if I'm in a new place and I don't have any place in the back of my mind of where to go, I'll look on Google
Yeah.
and just look at the reviews. And if it's anything under 4, I usually don't go.
Yo.
So it's cool that you find like these
Dude.
hidden gems. And I think it was a 3.5, but you gave it a 4.5.
I gave it 4.5. Dude, man, like I think it was I forgot the guy's name, Rocket Jump, I think is his handle, who talked about this phenomenon for like especially for Chinese food. You want to get something that's about 3.5. Like
That's a sweet spot.
That's a sweet spot, man, because at least in like I'm talking about I'm Cantonese, so in Cantonese culture, like the service is just completely different. There's different expectations, very efficient. It's like you get your food, it's no nonsense. It's like you get your food, it's very quick. No one's going to ask you how like the food is or anything. Cantonese we tend to be a little loud, so like it's very loud in there. It might sound rude, and even in, like I've heard from other Asian cultures, like there might be like a yellow bucket in the corner, so like it's not like
Aesthetically pleasing.
It's not aesthetically pleasing, but it's all about the food.
That
So, yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I think that's why when I'm looking at the reviews, it's bad and I shouldn't go off based off the stars, but I actually read the reviews because so many people give bad reviews for such stupid reasons.
Yeah.
Like if we're talking about like going in to get some good Chinese food, I do not care how the place looks.
Yeah.
I do not care if they speak English. I do
Right,
not care about
right.
any of these things. If the food is good, I
The
will give it
food,
5
man.
stars. If the food is not, but so many people are like, oh, like the waiter didn't speak Chinese, so they gave it a 1 or
Right.
sorry, they didn't speak English, so I
yeah.
gave it a 1 or 2 star. Who cares? I don't give a damn. I just want good Chinese food.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. So yeah, like you want to see the reviews, like the food was excellent. but the service was horrible.
Yeah, who
I'm
cares
like, oh,
about
I'm
the
going
service?
there.
If the service is bad, the food is probably amazing.
Yeah. So the one I went to, Good Catch, it's actually at Fairview Mall. I really love their food. I've been to their Markham location. That's why I went there. Like the food's excellent, but I think some things that might bother some people is it is very popular. Like, so the wait was very long.
Really? Even
It,
though it had a low rating.
yeah, and then it's like actually it's barely hanging on. It's at 3.1 right now.
Really?
Yeah,
And it's
like
packed.
it's packed. It's packed. It's
Wow.
packed. I went to New Century Dim Sum. They're very good too. Like it's not. I mean, it's decent dim. I'm very picky on my dim sum, so
Mhm.
it's decent dim sum. But it was not the best.
Yeah.
It's decent. So it's New Century Plaza, and I think they had 3 point something as well. Their
Yeah.
rating was like somewhere there. I'm like, but their food is really good. So like it's similar. Like I think the waiters, it's not their first language.
Yeah.
Cantonese is their first language. So there might be some trouble communicating, but it's a great place, great food.
Yeah. So for everyone listening, the rule of thumb is if you're looking for Chinese food, 3.5 stars.
3.5, man.
If it's 4 or higher,
It's true.
don't go.
Yeah. Well, I want to actually try some 4 and higher places. I think it's just like probably good still, but
Yeah.
it's like more expensive.
For
and
sure.
It's more like it's more refined.
Yeah, I want the cheap stuff. Like we went for lunch
Cheap
a
stuff,
couple of
man.
weeks ago
Yeah.
at like this hole in the wall. I'd never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a hole in the wall.
And it was, I mean, it wasn't the best Chinese food I ever
No,
had. It was
yeah.
very solid. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it was solid, man. It was like it's a place you can sit down, have a good conversation,
Yeah.
and I kind of really craved more of the charred aroma. I think I might have told you that.
Yeah, I think I remember you saying that.
I'll take you to some more spots.
Absolutely, man. Take me, absolutely. I have to bring my girlfriend too because she's so jealous we
let's do
went,
it.
so we got to go. I did want to ask though, so you've been doing these videos where you post or where you do restaurants that have lower reviews that maybe no one has really heard of or the majority of people
Mhm.
haven't. Do you find any correlation with the popularity of the places you choose to go to and the success of the video or the views?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm still trying to discover it. Okay, so like I've had theories that haven't really worked out. So
Mhm.
I had this theory like I think I should so a video did really well. I had Nigerian food and that did well because I thought, "Oh, it's like, like I'm experiencing another culture and people will really like that."
Mhm.
And so that did well because I was actually trying to learn the techniques of eating Nigerian
How to
food.
eat, yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that video, but like it
Was it like fufu,
fufu,
agusi?
yeah, ugusi,
Yeah.
exactly. And then actually, apparently, you're not supposed to swallow the food. Yeah, man, that's a whole topic on its own.
Really?
Yeah, that's like faux pas.
But like, so what are you supposed to do?
So you're supposed because the fufu is like it's soft, so
Mhm.
you dip it in the sauce, and
Yeah.
if you get like meat and stuff, put everything in your mouth.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to like swish the meat to a corner, from what I understand, and keep it there while you swallow, like just not chew, swallow the fufu.
Really?
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's rude to chew.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I got a lot
We're
of
not
comments.
experts here.
So I got like top comments like you chewed.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. So I mean that gets engagement. But what I've noticed is like I don't know if that's why my China video did well, but I'm Chinese, so maybe people think I'm an expert at Chinese Asian cuisine.
Yeah.
So I'm still discovering like what my audience like. I love Asian food, so I do a lot of it.
Yeah.
So those tend to do well because of that.
Yeah. It's funny that you say like it helps with the engagement, like people saying what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
I found that too where we both did a video on it, Momo Gar, and
Yeah,
we said Momos.
Yeah, Momos.
And apparently the
it's
plural of
Momo.
Momo is Momo. And like half of our comments were that. And it's like, okay, now we know, but like
Okay, but there's a huge debate.
yeah, okay, I'm gonna be honest. I saw the comments on your video
Yeah.
of people saying that before we filmed ours.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when we were recording, when we were doing the voiceover, Monica and I Googled it.
Yeah.
And from what I saw on Google,
Yeah.
both are acceptable.
Right.
I
yeah.
saw Momo and Momos are
Yeah,
both
so-
acceptable as the plural.
So I think it's kind of Momo is not an English word.
Mhm.
So if you were to say it, don't know which language, maybe Tibetan or Nepal, but it's supposed to be Momo and it's the pluralized version. But if you convert it to English, some people were saying it's okay to go Momos
Mhm.
if you're speaking pure English.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's it is what it is.
But Just to add on to what you're saying, I look for like a really captivating story.
Yeah.
So the reason I went to Momo Gar actually was a couple things. Like Asham, who is a big like Toronto food guy, he highly recommended that restaurant to me. That's one. But two is they had like a really good story. So like the owner, um, like periodically would actually just like use his kitchen, cook a bunch of food, and feed the neighborhood. And it comes from I think his faith and his background. I think he's Buddhist. So he just wants to do good for his community. So I'm like, oh man, that's like such a great thing he's doing. I just want to like
Support.
support.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to do, and that's how I try to choose some of like the restaurants that I want to feature.
Yeah. And it feels so good when those videos that you make for restaurants that you really want to support end up doing well, because I've
Yes,
seen
yeah.
your video on Momogar a ton of times. And the one that I posted, that Monica and I posted on both TikTok and Instagram, are like two of the highest performing videos. I
Amazing.
think because people love it so much. And the Momos, whatever, looked so good. The
They
colors
look
are
great.
so vibrant, and it just tasted delicious.
I would say I don't have a list yet, but definitely like top 3 bites of 2024, man,
Yeah,
is
so
Momo
good.
Gar, because those are not traditional Momo.
Yeah, Momo.
Those are, I mean, they have some traditional ones, but I mean, we talked about this last time, but the owner Sonos comes from a fine dining background.
Yeah.
He's a fine dining chef, worked in many dining establishments before forming this.
So he brings a little twist.
He brings his own take on it and twist, and even like if you saw the food, right, it looks really fine
Yeah.
dining like, but the establishment is very like a home.
Yeah,
Like he's
small, like 10
small,
tables,
yeah,
like
and it's family style. Like the food is shared, so it's a cool like representation of like maybe him. Like
yeah.
it's fine dining, but it's very welcoming.
No, it's so good to see, and I cannot wait to go back. I have to go back very soon.
Yeah, we should just go back together. Just
Yeah,
enjoy
we
it.
could do another video. I'm down. So one thing I really am curious about:
Yeah.
how often in a week do you eat out?
Oh man, that's something I've been trying to like learn how to manage.
Yeah.
Because I think okay, so last week or the week before, I think I ate out like almost every day,
Mm,
which I think is taking a toll on me. And like, I don't like to waste food. So I would take the food home and also eat it at
yeah.
home. So pretty much eating, even if I eat in, it's restaurant food, which is great. I love restaurant food, but I'm kind of like just craving home cooked meals.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm learning how to balance that.
Like how to maintain a
Yeah.
healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, because I think, like restaurant food is great, but I don't know if you want to be eating it all the time.
Yeah. That's the thing that's tough, because so Monica and I, our page Messy Eats has been slowly growing really well.
Yeah.
We just this morning we hit 2,500 followers on TikTok. We're past
Oh,
2,700 on Instagram. It's been going really well, and we
dang.
post once a week.
Yeah.
But we want to
Do
post
more.
more.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
also, both of us are kind of in this like not like diet, but we're really trying to live like a healthy lifestyle. And like
Yeah.
at home, we eat very healthy meals, and it's like
Excellent.
I don't know if I want to start eating out 3-4 times a week. I would love to, but to stay like kind of on the path of like the goals I want to
Right.
hit, it's not very doable. So it's difficult trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle. I guess
is.
you don't necessarily have to have unhealthy takeout, but it's much harder for you to manage, like count your calories and all that kind of stuff, you know?
Mhm. I'm learning, man. Maybe you can give me some tips if you figure out anything. But I do a lot of exercise, like exercise with my
good.
wife quite regularly. Like after this, I'm gonna go exercise.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
But today's been a healthy day. I didn't
Good.
go out to eat yet.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the biggest tip I have for you, I wouldn't even really say a tip, is what we do is like all of the meals that we can control, meaning
Yeah.
like the meals we have at home, we try to keep light, we try to keep healthy,
Yep.
just so that when we do go out and film a
Counterbalance.
video, we can go all out. We don't have to be like,
Mm.
oh, we don't want to pick this, we don't want to pick that.
Mhm.
Like whatever we want to eat is what we eat when we go out.
I love that. I love that.
So my last, actually, I have a couple more questions. It's not my last question.
It's been fun.
So you recently went to China.
Yeah.
How was it?
China was amazing, man. That was like, I love Thailand too, so it's hard for me to say which one I love more. But it could have been my favorite trip of all time. I
Really?
think. Yeah, because I think one of the special parts to it was my wife is from China, so I got to like experience how she grew up. We went to her home city
Mm.
and she showed me her like favorite food and all of that stuff. So that was really special. And also I'm born in Canada, but I've I've been to China, but not as a tourist. I've been there for like maybe business or for academia. And so this is the first time kind of experiencing China culture.
Mm.
It's really strange. I don't know how to explain it, but I felt like I was home,
Yeah.
but I've never really lived there.
Yeah.
I'm I think it's because there's something that I don't know. I don't know what it
It's like
is.
ingrained inside of you.
Maybe
Yeah.
there's something in my DNA, but
Yeah.
I just felt at home. I felt really for lack of a better way to say it, I felt proud to be Chinese.
Yeah.
Even though, like I'm Canadian. That's what like kind of messed me up. So Tim Hortons, the bagels, in my humble opinion, were very weird. They
The
were like
bagels.
the bagels I had there were a hybrid of like Chinese food and Canadian Western food.
Okay.
Didn't really jive with me. I'm like, maybe that's who I am. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't know where I
You
am.
like Canadian bagels.
Yeah, like I like Canadian based. Like sometimes, like in Canada, sometimes I don't feel Canadian. In China, I don't feel Chinese
Mm,
fully. But I felt, there's both worlds to me.
for sure.
Even though, yeah, I was born and raised in Canada, but yeah, like part of it was just like I felt weirdly at home, even though it's not my home. And I love the culture, love learning about the culture.
Yeah. What was the food scene like there?
Oh, it was off the charts, man.
Yeah.
Like, gotta go. Like, top two places for me is Xi'an. They have a big, sizable Muslim population there.
Really?
So a lot of the food is halal
Mm.
and influenced by, yeah, there's like a lot of food there that you cannot find, or you might be able to find other places in China, but it originated from there.
So are these are just like these are Chinese Muslims?
Good question. There's a Muslims quarter, and I think so. Like, yeah, Chinese Muslims. I,
Mm.
I think there's and it's yeah. There's mosques everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, there's mosques everywhere. There's even one mosque. It's the biggest mosque, and it's sort of like a tourist destination. So you can, as a tourist, you can pay to go in and see it, and it's awesome actually.
Yeah.
Like, there's prayers happening and people worshiping. It was
Mm.
it was a, yeah, it was a cool experience.
Is it kind of one of those countries where for example, when I went to Italy, basically every single restaurant was Italian food. Is it like that
Yeah,
in China,
yeah.
how it's not very multicultural in terms of the cuisines they offer?
Yeah, that is very true. So it's got excellent Chinese food, but like you wouldn't go there for Italian food.
Mm.
And I think Shanghai is more international. It's a very like, li- I don't know if that's the right word, libero, artsy sort of. It's kind of like New York,
Yeah.
maybe. Like it's artsy, it's business like. There's high tech.
Yeah.
Um, so you probably can find good international food there, but I didn't look for it. But most of China, I think they're known for the cuisine of that region.
Mm.
So it's Chinese food, but very different depending on where you go in China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think the Toronto food scene compares
Yeah,
to
man.
like other parts of the world?
I think we might have talked about this. This is something I get really excited about, and I think we're very blessed in Toronto. I think Toronto's food, like Chinese food, obviously there's many types of Chinese food, but I had the Shenzhen Bao in Shanghai. It's a fried pork bun. It's it's juicy inside too, or supposed to be. I would say the one in Toronto's better.
Yeah.
It's a controversial take, but the Sanji Bao in North York, I think they make a better Shenzhen Bao than the one I had in Shanghai. But fair enough, I went to a chain, so I went
Mm.
to one
Okay.
that is famous. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
one that people recommended I go to. It was very good too, but I think Toronto just did it better.
Yeah.
Like this one particular restaurant in Toronto does it better.
It's so amazing, man.
Yeah.
Toronto, what doesn't matter what cuisine you want. I've had
Yeah.
amazing Greek food. I've had amazing
Yeah,
Chinese
man.
food,
It's crazy.
Middle Eastern food. They have everything. And I think that's one of the beauties of Canada and specifically Toronto, because I'd say
Yeah.
Toronto is the most multicultural part of Canada. But everyone comes and everyone brings their cuisines. And like, it doesn't
Yes.
matter what you're in the mood for, you can
Uh,
find it in Toronto.
We're blessed, man. Like, I think I definitely take it for granted. Like, if
I think we all do, being born here.
yeah, because even like with ramen, A lot of my followers, they're like, I don't even have a ramen shop in my city. Like
Mm.
they can't even go to a restaurant to get ramen.
Hmm.
Here, there's like,
Every
I don't even
corner.
know, like everywhere, and they're good too. And I mean, you don't have to even eat Japanese ramen. You could eat whatever. Like Keith Lee, he went to a Somalian restaurant,
Yeah.
and I've been there. It's really good. So like you can get any cuisine you want here, which is
Yeah.
cool.
My last question for you. Do you have a dream destination food wise that you
Mm,
haven't been to yet? A city, a country that you really
yeah.
want to try?
Okay. Immediately pops into my mind is either Vietnam or Philippines.
I've heard Vietnam.
Yeah.
I've heard Vietnam has some of the best food,
Yeah.
uh, and the cheapest. I have
Yeah.
a buddy of mine who he's like a nomad, like he travels everywhere. And the last time I saw him, he had traveled to I think 50 countries in the last like 2 years.
Yeah.
And I asked him, what was your favorite country out of the 50? And he's like, Vietnam, not even close. He's like,
Vietnam.
you can eat the best food there,
Mm-hmm.
but you can eat like a king for
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
equivalent of like $5 or $6 Canadian.
Amazing, man. Yeah, yeah. I really want to go there. I love I love what I know of Vietnamese cuisine
Hmm.
from Toronto. So I'd love to learn even more about it. Like I was gonna say I love pho. I don't know if
Love
that's
pho.
like saying like I love burgers or,
Yeah,
or
probably.
whatever as a like, oh, I want American food. I like burgers.
Yeah,
Like
pho and banh mi.
it's like maybe the most basic stuff. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'd love to learn more about the cuisine. I want to experience more of it. But yeah, I love pho.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I have ramen over pho. I just
Yeah,
it's more filling.
yeah,
It's more to me
it's
more
rich.
flavorful. It's
Yeah,
very rich. But when I'm sick,
yeah, man.
pho just hits the spot. It's like I love chicken noodle soup. It's like a million times better than chicken noodle soup.
Yeah, yeah, man. And there's even a chicken pho, so you could have like a chicken
Chicken
noodle
noodle
soup, but
pho.
pho version.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, it's like it's something you would really like to enjoy like on a cold day. You
Yeah.
just want to eat it at home or something. Yeah, especially when you're sick.
Absolutely.
Warms you up.
Absolutely. Clement, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. We got to do it again. I still
Yeah,
have more
man.
questions. So we got to do it, but appreciate you so much. If you want to shout out anything, any of your socials, anything like that, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Insta.noodles is the handle without the E. So shout out there and yeah, feel free to support me and give me a follow if you want.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Listen Listen podcast, and I'll see you next time. Peace.